Joyful adventure on its come, join the...
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're continuing our popular series on the lost pubs of Birmingham, focusing on 7 abandoned and closed pubs in the historic Digbeth area. As many of you know, pubs across the UK have been facing incredibly hard times in recent years. The combination of changing drinking habits, the smoking ban, rising costs, COVID-19 lockdowns, and property developers has led to thousands of closures nationwide. Digbeth, once a thriving area for traditional pubs and Irish bars, has been particularly hard hit. Let's take a look at what's become of some of these beloved local establishments. Our first stop is the corner of Oxford Street and Coventry Street, where we find the former Old Wharf pub, which later became a Rorke's. This place has quite a story. It operated as a Rorke's alehouse until about 2017, and then had a brief moment of excitement in 2018 when it was earmarked to become a Peaky Blinders themed hotel. There was even artwork sprayed on the side saying Garrison Hotel and Bar Birmingham. But just a week after announcing those plans, a notice of repossession was served on the building. Now in February 2025, it sits empty, boarded up, and covered in graffiti, another victim of unfulfilled promises and changing fortunes in this area. Next up is the Malt Shovel on Milk Street at the corner of Coventry Street. This pub has an interesting claim to fame. It was later known as Billy's Bar and was once owned by Paul Henry, a Brummie actor who played Benny in the old Crossroads Motel TV series. Before that, it was the Malt Shovel, also known locally as Wacketts because of the licensee came from Derby and was known for his catchphrase Yow Cor Wacket. The building later became the Birmingham Backpackers Club, but as of February 2025, it's all boarded up with metal shutters on the windows, covered in graffiti, and looking, as our viewer put it, a bit derelict and sad. On the corner of Barn Street and Little Street, we find what was most recently known as the Barn Pub and Grill. This cocktail bar only opened in 2020, but the building has a long history. It was formerly a pub called the Royal Oak until the 1950s, and was also called the Braw's Arms at some point. Despite its attempt to reinvent itself for modern tastes, as of February 2025, it sits abandoned and empty. Another casualty of difficult times for the hospitality industry in this area. Now here's a rare bit of good news in our tour. The Kerryman at 81 Digbeth was taken over by the O'Connor family in 1996. Originally called the Roscommon Bar, Liam O'Connor renamed it to reflect his hometown on the border of Limerick and Kerry. This family-run Irish pub became a hub for the Irish community, hosting the Monday Irish Club and live traditional Irish music. They later converted the upstairs to a B&B and were the first pub in Digbeth to introduce 24-hour licensing. While it's currently covered in graffiti, there's a sign in the window saying "I assure you we will reopen," and recent Facebook posts suggest it's set to become a themed rock bar called Spoilers, opening this April. It will be a late-night cult movie-themed rock bar with live music, arcade machines, cult classic movies with silent disco headphones, and an outdoor terrace. They'll be open until 6 a.m. on weekends and serve everything from craft beers to noodles and cereal. If you want to check them out, follow Spoilers Digbeth on Instagram. The brewer and baker on Old Camp Hill has a particularly sad story. Built in 1830 on a terraced road, it was originally connected to buildings on either side. Now it stands alone, gradually falling to pieces. Its downfall came when a roundabout was constructed nearby, altering the roads so that the pub was cut off from its street and marooned on a little island. It simply became too difficult to access, pedestrians had to cross a busy roundabout, and drivers couldn't easily reach the car park. By the end of 1990, the pub was barely attracting any customers and closed shortly after. Then in 2016, it was gutted by fire. Now it stands in a very poor state of repair, abandoned for many years. The White Swan on Hurst Street later became Eden, a gay bar. While it survived for many years under this new identity, it eventually closed during the COVID-19 lockdowns. The building still stands today but is currently being used as a builder's yard office for the nearby apartment building site. We recently featured this location in another video in our series. Our final stop is the Market at 25, Bradford Street, also known as the Market Cross. This somewhat brutalist-looking pub was part of the Birmingham wholesale markets complex and did a healthy trade back in the day. It was formerly an Ansell's pub and was later called the New Market Bar and Grill before closing, likely due to the wholesale market being demolished. This was a popular pub for market workers' after-hours drinking and was one of the regular 1970s and 1980s rock pubs along with places like the Barrel Organ, with many local bands playing there. As of February 2025, it sits abandoned, empty, and covered in graffiti. That brings us to the end of our tour of 7 lost pubs of Digbeth. It's sad to see so many historic establishments sitting empty, but that's the reality of the changing urban landscape and the challenges facing the pub industry. The one silver lining is the Kerryman's potential new life, as spoilers will definitely be following up on that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more content on Birmingham's pub history, and leave a comment below sharing your memories of these establishments. Were you a regular at any of these pubs? We'd love to hear your stories. Next week, we'll be visiting some of the pubs in Birmingham that are still going strong despite the challenges. Until then, cheers.
Seven pubs in Digbeth Row, one by one they had to go. Brick and stone they stood so tall, now just echoes in the hall. Stories told and songs were sung, fists were raised and bells were rung. Days turned into nights of cheer, now those voices disappear. The Kerryman was full of might, laughter spilling into night. History written in its beams, now it lives in fading dreams. Bricks that saw so many fights, now they're whispers in the lights. Shadows dance around the floor, but the spirits want much more. Ghosts of Digbeth come to play, take these memories not away. Raise a glass to days gone by, let the past not ever die. New hopes rising in the spoilers, dust of dreams in olden boilers. History in every tone, Digbeth never stands alone. Old men spoke of glory days, pint in hand and gaze astray. Youthful hearts and fearless pride, in the end not much survived. Brick by brick they took them down, left a scar upon this town. Still the spirit's here to stay, never one to fade away. Once forgotten, now reborn, spoilers brings the fresh new dawn. In the place where stories spun, now begins a brand new run. Raise a toast to future bright, where the past is still in sight. Every pint a memory shared, of the times when no one cared. Ghosts of Digbeth come to play, take these memories not away. Raise a glass to days gone by, let the past not ever die. New hopes rising in the spoilers, dust of dreams in olden boilers. History in every tone, Digbeth never stands alone. Old men spoke of glory days, pint in hand and gaze astray. Youthful hearts and fearless pride, in the end not much survived. Brick by brick they took them down, left a scar upon this town. Still the spirit's here to stay, never one to fade away. Once forgotten, now reborn, spoilers brings the fresh new dawn. In the place where stories spun, now begins a brand new run. Raise a toast to future bright, where the past is still in sight. Every pint a memory shared, of the times when no one cared. History in every tone, Digbeth never stands alone.